I'm here with Stephen Munatones, founder of the World Open Water Swimming Association, or WOWSA, also a marathon swimming historian. We are just days away from the Tokyo Olympic Games, so we're profiling the 25 men and 25 women who will be competing in the Olympic 10K marathon swim in Odaiba Marine Park. Today, we're talking about Taishin Minamide. Stephen, what can you tell us about him?
This guy has got to be really, really happy. Really, he wasn't favored even within Japan to be here. Even at the Olympic qualifying swim, he was so far behind his own teammate. I mean, he was probably a minute and a half behind his teammate with not a lot of race to go. And this guy pulled it out. The favorite in Japan to be here was another Japanese two-time Olympian who got 8th in Rio, but he didn't qualify for the qualifier. So Taishin took his place, 25-year-old, and made the best of it. And this is what we always say. This guy is like the stereotypical guy who did the unexpected. Yes, in his heart, most certainly, he was always wanting to represent his home country in the Tokyo Olympics, for sure. But I don't think many other people did. Certainly I didn't. But he did a great job. He finished the race fast. You know, he's this middle group of swimmers who, 356 400-meter freestyle, 807 800-meter freestyle, very fast, not the highest echelon, but he did the job. He came back in that second half of the qualifying race and really did a great job. If he can hang on to guys like, Kai Edwards and Hector Pardo and the Greek guy and, all these other British swimmers, man, he'll do great. Now, what's really interesting is, like every Olympics, the locals always perform better. Taishin, he's in Japan, no time zones, eating familiar food. Tokyo, he's raced in Tokyo many, many times. Of all the people who are in this race, Taishin knows Odaiba Marine Park like the back of his hand. Now, the water's dirty, the water's warm, the water's flat. Nobody probably really likes these conditions, but Taishin, nobody in this field is as familiar with this race course as Taishin is. So familiarity with the course, the hopes of Japan in him. It's interesting. This race will be held August 5th, which is the second week of the Olympics. We've all heard in Japan how a lot of Japanese don't want the Olympics to be held or wanted to be postponed. But it's my guess that once Japan starts to win some Olympic medals, that Olympic fever that always takes over every country who's hosts Olympics will start taking over Japan. They'll start winning medals, and the patriotism that always comes from the host country will come alive. And that bodes well for a guy like Taishin. Of course, the crowds will not be there, but everybody's going to be on their smartphone, their laptop, or watching TV. So he's going to have the hopes of the host country on his shoulders. That can only help him. And I think he's going to hang on as best he can.
That's a great point, Stephen. He's got the home court advantage. It also sounds like he made up quite a bit of ground at the end of that qualifier. Is that something to watch for in Tokyo? Does he have that closing speed?
He did at the qualifier. He won't have the closing speed. He won't be catching up to any of the top guys. Certainly not the top 3 or top 5 guys. They're just too fast. But what he can do is he can pull away from the trailing pack, the rear pack, if you will, and can hang on to the top pack as long as he can. Again, when you have a country of 130 million people pulling for you, that's a lot of weight on your shoulder, but it's a lot of buoyancy, if you will, in spirit. So he's going to come out, so proud of representing Japan. Again, he was not favored to be the Japanese representative, but he is there. He's Japan's sole representative, and I think he's going to do well.
Final prediction, Stephen, for Taishin in Tokyo Bay.
Yeah, he's seeded 15th, and he's going to be in the top 15. I don't think there's any way he can crack the top 10, maybe not even the top 12. If he gets somewhere between 13th and 15th, consider that a victory for Taishin in the country of Japan.
All right, you heard it here first. Thanks so much, Stephen.
You're welcome.